हरे ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे So we'll continue the discussion from Prabhupada's purport. This is very important section. Basically, here when Kapila himself starts how the living entity gets entangled. And then next section is he starts explaining. First, he explained how we got entangled, and the second part will be how we can come out. So he explains how we need to do bhakti, and then Mother Devati asks, "Okay, you tell me the process, how it happens, it's how this process works." Oh, then further, Lord Kapila is giving these explanations. Now he is giving how systematically it happened. So from when Mother Devati completed from here he starts the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can get liberation by seriously discharging devotional service. So that is the criteria he gives. That means serious discharge here indicates that we need to involve our emotions. Something very serious means we are involved with our heart. Here it should be with our heart and soul, and serious means with heart. There should be some emotions in the things. And by thus executing one's prescribed duties, there will be no reaction and one will be free from contamination of matter. And then further, he explains this is a very nice purpose. Serious devotional service can develop by hearing from long periods of time. This is a very important instruction which Prabhupada is giving. If we are serious means we are ready to hear very long, not just 1 hour in a day, few hours in a day. Prolonged hearing, developed by hearing for a long periods of time. Chanting and hearing is the beginning of the process of devotional service. One should associate with devotees and hear from them about the Lord's transcendental appearance, activity, disappearance, instructions. But this should be done for a long time, right? And then he says that this devotional service has to be performed strongly in perfect knowledge and with a transcendental vision. This is also very important. Strong, performed strongly. It's not just some. Uh, Generally, what happens is the tendencies of ritualistic attitude. I woke up in the morning, I completed my 16 rounds. I just did my arati and I read some shlokas and I attended one class. Done for today. Then the ritual is complete. Then I am done with for today's devotion. But that is not like that. It is strongly performed. Strongly performed here indicates with knowledge, perfect knowledge. So now what we are doing every day, morning, afternoon, evening, we are sitting and discussing Bhagavatam. That is why we are doing it, because we want to gain perfect knowledge. Many people, na, they don't work on this. This is Shastra Shraddha. You need to develop Shastra Shraddha. It is Laukiki Shraddha. When we come to ISKCON, it is Laukiki Shraddha. Okay, everybody is doing, I should also do. And some understanding here there is there. But strongly backed by Shastra, that Shraddha is not there. And with the transcendental vision. The transcendental vision is basically the vision from the Shastras only. So with the perfect knowledge and transcendental vision. These are very important. So he's not just telling, okay, do everybody is doing bhakti, they are chanting and no, they do come to temple once in a week and do things, and that's all perfection. No, it is not perfection. It should be done like this. One must be strongly renounced and must engage in austerities and perform mixed yoga in order to firmly fix in self-absorption. For us, no need of this austerities and yoga. Our austerity is just Brahma Muhurta. If we can complete our rounds chanting, that's sufficient. So here, Prabhupada said, devotional service in Krishna conscious cannot be performed blindly due to material emotions or material concoction. You see, this is not material emotion or material concoction. It is not because of Laukika Shraddha. It should be Shastra Shraddha. It is specifically mentioned here that one has to perform devotional service in full knowledge by visualizing the absolute truth. So this is, we cannot understand about the absolute truth by evolving transcendental knowledge, and the result of such transcendental knowledge will be manifested by renunciation. Jnana comes, then Vairagya is also there because we understand things as they are. We don't disconnect the things from Krishna. That is the important thing that happens. Generally, there is disconnection, uh, but here there is no disconnection. Yes, Mataji, you have a question?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, here we were discussing about how we should not do it just as a ritual, Prabhuji. But we also get to know that Jiva doesn't know anything about Krishna, Prabhuji. So Prabhupada even says, even if you don't have feeling for Krishna, you should develop it by practice like that he is given now, Prabhuji. So we don't, as of now, don't have any emotion for Krishna, no, Prabhuji, in this conditioned state, and we are just following the devotee. So naturally, since we don't have an experience, naturally it will be like a ritual only, no, Prabhuji. How to understand this point, Prabhuji?
No. Ritual means what? Where you don't put your heart. You are just doing the activity without involving your consciousness. Generally, like say you are offering to the Lord and your mind is somewhere else, then that is not an offering. We should feel, okay, I am very grateful for the opportunity to offer this bhoga to the Lord. I am very grateful to get the opportunity to chant the holy name of Lord. So we are very grateful for the opportunity to serve. So with that emotion, we are doing it. And there is a humility when you are serving Vaishnavas, when you are associating with them, when we attend to the opportunity to hear Bhagavatam every day morning. We should be grateful. Oh, I am getting opportunity to speak about Bhagavatam. That is actually what is important. Like now, I can be mindlessly, I can do the activity. Okay, I just have to read. I'll read and no, then finish my duty is done. It's not like
that
involved.
that that proper understanding how we will get through, that is what because I don't know anything about Krishna, Prabhuji, as a conditioned soul. So I'm getting everything through Shastra, Guru Sadhu and Shastra only. They're telling about Krishna to me, Prabhuji. So all these things I will be learning only from devotees, Prabhuji. Even this, what you're telling now, that we should be more grateful, all these things we are learning from devotees. But as we don't as such have that natural feeling, no, Prabhuji. That will be developed later only, no, Prabhuji.
Yeah, initial stage it is okay that we just do little mechanically, we just came and do. But slowly, slowly, eventually we have to learn the science. We have to, here actually Prabhupada very clearly states that we have to understand, we should be eager to understanding the truth. That is very important. I need to always learn something new about Krishna, understand it. That is my sincerity. Krishna gave me some intelligence. What did I learn new about Krishna today and try to go closer to him? So now I understood I had to become closer to Krishna, I had to develop relation to Krishna. Then what did I do today to do achieve my goal? My goal is to attain Krishna Prema. So how much you have worked for the goal today? Am I work for material goals or I am working for spiritual goal? So whole time is going in material economic development and material achievements. Then means I am not serious about my goal. So if I am serious, then I will work on it. So and every day I am learning new things. So then I will start seeing, okay, how what is the difference, pure devotee. My Guru Maharaj is also chanting, he's also reading, he's also doing things which I am doing. What is the difference? The difference is the consciousness, the emotion. So let me also work in that direction. I also did. He also chants morning. I also chant in the morning. We are same. No, we are not same because consciousness is different. So what is that factor? That is emotion. So let me also cultivate the emotions which he is teaching me. Like,
Okay, Prabhuji. So we have to develop at least that intelligence that we are supposed to follow them like that. That developing that minimum intelligence you're telling, Prabhuji.
yeah, we have to work on it. We cannot just, it is not something comes. We have to consciously work on it. Then only it comes.
Mm. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So here it is explained that renunciation is not temporary, but it is very strong. Why it is strong? Because it is coming with knowledge. So that is the renunciation. That means I understand things prapanchikataya bhaktya hari sambandhi vashnu. So I see things in relation to Krishna. So that is real renunciation. Instead of rejecting things, if I see who is the owner and I work for the owner, pleasure, for the object is meant for him. So let him enjoy. That is real renunciation. So here very clearly Prabhupada explains also this. It is said that development of Krishna consciousness is exhibited by proportionate material detachment. So if one does not separate himself from material, it is to be understood he is not advancing in Krishna consciousness. This is also very, very important. This is a natural byproduct. If the advancement, we can know whether I'm advancing or not to the degree my attachment to material objects and material things. If I'm able to give donations to temple where I'm serving properly, that means why we have to give because that helps us to develop detachment. That is the advantage of learning to give donations to temple. Otherwise, no, we'll be doing for ourselves only. We'll be so much attached to our things. So their selfishness is so much. There is so much selfishness. My family, my house, my. No, start giving. So renunciation in Krishna consciousness is so strong that it cannot be deviated by any attractive illusion and has to perform devotional service in full tapasya auspicities like the fasting ekadasis and so Prabhupada is that is the auspicities we have. And then it says the influence of metal energy nature has covered the living entity and thus it is this is we have read previously that's why I'm skipping. So from here 23rd onwards we have to start. The influence of material nature has covered the living entity, and thus it is as if the living entity were always in blazing fire. But by the process of seriously discharging devotional service, this influence can be removed, just as fire sticks which causes a fire are themselves consumed. This is very important. So, what Lord Kapila is telling, the influence of metal nature has covered the living entity, and it is as if the living entity were blazing. Again, is telling that we are covered it and we are burnt by metal nature. And what to do? Again, same thing. Seriously discharging devotionals is not just discharge devotion. Seriously. So that's what Prabhupada is writing, is translating. The influence can. And the Prabhupada is writing in the purport, big purport. He says that fire is conserved in wood, wooden sticks, and when circumstances are favorable, the fire is ignited. But the wooden sticks which are cause of the fire also consumed with the fire if it is properly dealt with. Similarly, the living entity's conditional life of mental existence is due to his desire to lord it over mental nature and due to his envy of the Supreme Lord. Thus, his main disease are that he want to be one with the Supreme Lord or he want to become the Lord of the material nature. So this is like firewood, which what is that? To lord it over. Desire to lord it. This desire is not this desire is of the soul only. This is the problem. The soul can desire. our now presently na, our mind is desiring for us. Like if I say I want to eat some food item, or if I want to see some things, or I want to attain something, that is all in the desires in the mind, because mind got affected, and it is influence, and that is consuming us. So this is due to envy and lord it over. Thus the main disease are that he wants to be one with the supreme lord. He wants to become the lord of material. Karmis try to utilize the resources of material nature, and thus become its lord and enjoy sense gratification. So we were discussing also, like we want to attract things to ourselves. We want to attract, we have to be attracted by Krishna, towards Krishna. Instead of we getting attracted towards Krishna, we want to attract things to us. 3 BHK villa, I want to have good name, some followers. I want to look nice so that people will be impressed by me. This is all tendency to become the Lord. When I go out of my home, what is the thing people generally do? They look themselves in the mirror and then they go out. What does that mean? They're identifying with the body, and then they want that people should look at me and appreciate how I look and what type of dress I'm wearing, what type of shoes, watch, and whatever. That is the identity we have. We want to make people feel impressed by us. That is lauding mentality. We want to attract. My neighbor's car is bigger than my car. I will also want a bigger car. So we want to attract the things to us, people towards us. This is all lauding it over material nature, and this is a cause. And thus, jivas, the salvation who have become frustrated in enjoying the material resources, want to become one with the Supreme Personality of God. Then they thought, okay, these things are not proper attraction. I'll try to become Supreme Lord only. These two diseases are due to material contamination. Material contamination can be consumed by devotional service, because in devotional service, these two diseases, namely the desire to lord it over material nature and desire to become one with the Supreme, are absent. Therefore, the cause of mental existence is at once consumed by the careful discharge of devotional service. That's all. By bhakti, all the things are finished. This is very important for all of us. How we are so much. Uh, Radha Jyoti Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam to you. Prabhuji, there is a question. Say a person or a devotee wants to lord over because we are mixed at the present condition, then what are the symptoms of how I'll understand that I have the tendency to lord over? And
We
could you
have, because we are
explain?
we are doing certain things to impress, or we are trying to do some things to we to gain material things. We want to have some things at our home. We want to have something. The basic necessities are there, but we want luxury also. We want some extra products. We are accumulating things which are not needed. I accumulate so many books which are not needed. I don't know whether I read them or not, but there is accumulation. I want to attract things, gain more knowledge. Even that is also in one way a tendency. So this tendency is there in living entities. So until we come to the stage of very bhava and all, the tendency is there to lord it over mental nature. So it does not go so easily. False ego is there till the level of bhava only. No. It's samadhi state, dharana, till dharana it is there. Dhyana also. And samadhi state only false ego goes. So till the time there is some desire to attract, still there. So the symptom is, yeah, we are here, we are having. A devotee in full Krishna consciousness appears superficially to be a great karma, always working, but the inner significance of devotees' activity is that they are meant for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord. This is called bhakti or devotional service. Arjuna was apparently a fighter, but when by his fighting he satisfied the sense of Krishna, he became a devotee. Since a devotee also engages in philanthropy, philosophical research to understand Supreme Lord as he is, his activities may thus appear to be like those of mental speculators, but actually he is trying to understand the spiritual nature of transcendental. So Prabhupada is comparing two. Is comparing with the activities and is comparing with the philosophical research. So because he is doing activity, he is not a karmi. Because he is doing philosophical research, he is not a mental speculator. Because in both the cases, he is doing for the because he's satisfying the senses of Krishna. That is why he is different. It is not the activity, it is the motivation. So what matters is the motivation matters. It is not the activity. Thus, although the tendency of philosophical speculation exists, the material effects of fruitive activities and empirical speculation do not exist because this activity is meant for the supreme personality of God. So this is the point what Prabhupada is trying to make us understand. What matters is with what motive we are doing. We are doing for the pleasure, it's a ego satisfaction or mind satisfaction or senses satisfaction or for pleasure of Krishna. Right? Because he identifies himself as servant of Krishna, he works for the pleasure of Krishna. That is why Diksha is very important. Why Diksha? Because we get an identity. We get a new name, Das, Dasi, Devi, Dasi. So that gives an identity for us to act in a particular way. By discovering the faultlessness of the desires, of his desiring to lord it over, by discovering the faultiness of his desiring to lord it over material nature, and by therefore giving it up, the living entity becomes independent and stands his own in his own glory. That is what. So now we are seeing things as they are in relation to Krishna. Then we stop fighting with Krishna. That's what Prahlad is telling. You want to become happy in this world? Stop trying to become happy. Otherwise, parabhavasthavadabodha. Anyway, you're going to be defeated. Better don't fight. Because the living entity is not actually the enjoyer of material resources. His attempt to lord it over material nature is at the ultimate issue frustrated. So this is parabhavasthavadabodha. The, the attempt is ultimate frustrated. As a result of frustration, he desires more power than the ordinary living entities and thus want to merge into the existence of Supreme. In this way, he develops a plan to offer greater enjoyment. He thought, okay, I am not able to control, that's why my desires are not fulfilling. Let me become a person who can who are above all these things so that I can enjoy in a different level. This is another problem. So the problem is, okay, I am not able to enjoy at this level. Let me try. That's that was my motivation to join ISKCON. I was like very unhappy, I thought it is not working, Somehow I'm trying to become happy, my job and everything. Some frustration was there. Then I thought, then let me do good karma so that I'll enjoy in a different level and different way. The tendency is like that only. When one is actually situated in devotional service, that is his independent person, less intelligent man cannot understand the position of the eternal servant of the Lord. Because the word servant is used, they become confused. They cannot understand that this servitude is not the servitude of this material world. So this is another very nice point Prabhupada is telling. When Radhanand Maharaj first time he wrote a letter to his parents after he joined ashram in New Vrindavan. He read how are you and everything, and in down he wrote your servant. Then the parents they said, "Arey, why are you feeling yourself as a servant? How can you say you are a servant? Means that is like something very low. No, you want to be servant. Why you want to be servant? Then they wrote, why are you writing servant? The next like he wrote servant of the servant. Then he said, I am servant of yours. So people don't understand here. No. Tad Brutya Brutya Paricharaka Brutya Brutya Brutyasya Brutya Itmam Smaralokna. 7 times servant. And Prabhupada says 1,000 times servant. The point is that the experience that a person gets, the joy being servant of Krishna is very happy. To be servant of Lord is the greatest position, Prabhupada says. If one can understand this and can thus revive one's original nature of eternal servitorship of Lord, one stands fully independent. Our independence is dependent on Krishna. People say that no, we are enslaved by the colonial rules. Yeah, colonial rule is enslavement, and there is slave trade also that happened. But this is not like that. So here, when it comes, we say we want to get rid of this slavery or colonial rule. Then what happens is uh, they want independence. But here it's something opposite. We are depending on Krishna. By depending on Krishna, we are getting independence. This independence is from material conditionings. From matter, we are independent. Mameva ye prapadyante mayam. The living entity's independence is lost by material contact. So we may feel externally independent, but we are not independent. Maya is controlling. I may feel, oh, I can choose which brand of alcohol I want to drink. But the problem is you cannot stop drinking. You have option to choose which brand, but the problem is you are addicted to alcohol. That means Maya is catching you. And similarly for us also, we say, I am fully independent. I know what type of food to eat, what type of dress to wear, but we don't have option for not doing all these things. That is the enslavement Maya does. So Prabhupada says, therefore, there is no question of becoming dependent upon the three modes of material nature. In the spiritual field, we are fully independent. So that is this position is attained by devotee, and therefore he gives up the tendency for material enjoyment after seeing its faultlessness. The difference between a devotee impersonalist tries to become one with the supreme, and he cannot, and he can enjoy without impediment. So whereas a devotee gives up the entire mentality of enjoying and engage in transcendental loving service. The happiness which we are trying to get is in service, and the happiness which they are trying to get is in lording over. That is the main difference. So we say that okay, a mother experiences a greater pleasure when the child is very small, she's selflessly serving because there is love. That type of pleasure we want to experience. So Prabhupada writes, the living entity is Ishvara only when engaged in service of Lord. In other words, transcendental pleasure derived from loving service of Lord is actual independence. In a dreaming state, one's consciousness is almost covered and one sees many inauspicious things, but when he is awakened and fully conscious, such inauspicious things cannot bewilder him. This is what is called awakening or liberation, Jeev Jag, awakened to reality. And Prabhupada writes quite nice points. He says, in the condition of dreaming, when one's consciousness is almost covered, one may see many unfavorable things which causes disturbance or anxiety. And similarly, although he remembers what happened in the dream, he is not disturbed. Similarly, but when awakened, he is remembered. But similarly, the position of self-realization or understanding of one's real position with the Supreme Lord makes one completely satisfied, and the three modes of material nature, which are cause of all disturbance, cannot affect him. In contaminated consciousness, one sees everything to be for his own enjoyment, but in pure consciousness or Krishna conscious, he sees that everything exists for the enjoyment of Supreme Lord. That is the difference between the dream state and wakefulness. The state of contaminated consciousness is compared to dream consciousness, and Krishna consciousness compared to awakened state of life. So this is one who can understand that Krishna is the proprietor of all three modes of three words, and that he is the friend of everyone. Bhoktara Mikyatapasam Sarvalok Maheshwaram. Suhridam Sarvabhutana Yatmama Shantimachi. That is, the Krishna conscious person is thus is that of Pratibuddha, which means pure consciousness. And then he says the influence of material nature cannot harm an enlightened soul, even though he engages in material activity, because he knows the truth of absolute and his mind is fixed on the supreme personality. This is also very important for us. When we see a pure devotees among us, we should know that they are not affected by moods, even though they look or engage in some material activities, because they know whom it all belongs to. Their ego is pure. That's why there is no problem in the activity. Arjuna was also killing, Duryodhana is also killing, but Arjuna's ego is very pure. He is identifying himself as a servant of Krishna. So for us also it works. If I identify myself with servant of Krishna, then then I'll also experience, I'll not get entangled. So Kapila says that my manasam, a devotee whose mind is always fixed upon the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of God, it is called Atma Rama or Vidita Tattva. Atmana means one who rejoices in self or one who enjoys in spiritual atmosphere. Atma in the material sense means the body or the mind. But when referring to one whose mind is fixed on the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, Atmarama means one who is fixed in spiritual activity in relationship with the Supreme Soul. Supreme Soul is the personality of God and this soul is living entity. When they engage in reciprocation of service and benediction, the living entity is said to be in Atma Rama position. So this is one who knows the truth and who strives to engage all resources in the service of Lord, escapes all material reactions and influence of three modes. So it's very simple formula. What is that? Know the truth, that means everything belongs to Krishna. Tries to engage all resources in the service of Lord because they all belong to Krishna. We can escape from the influence. Every day we are entangling ourselves more and more by working under the modes. We are working with the desire to lord it over. We should know that we are going to get reaction for it. Oh, now I'm a devotee, no reaction. Yeah, no reaction in the sense when you are consciously doing activity, no reaction. But now I am unconsciously performing some activities. I should get it. The result will be there, right? Like person is attached to his property, wife, and children. Definitely you'll get pain for it. That is the reaction is getting anyway. He says, oh, devotee means no karma. Yeah, no karma. But then you should do activity as a devotee. If I am doing activities as a materialistic people, you are attached. Then when you get separated from your wife's children and property, you will get pain. That means you got karma back. Why you got that pain? Because you are attached. That that is the point. You are not seeing the connection of the things with Krishna. That is why there is a pain. Of course, it's not that there will not be pain. Like when you died, Arjuna also cried. But that is a different. They know, okay, they are feeling separation from the devotee. But they know it is Krishna who is sending and it is Krishna who is taking away. They don't have any problem. They don't get so much affected. Draupadi's children died. She was unhappy. But when Ashwatthama was brought, who killed her children, she said, forgive him. No, no issue. Why? Because she knows this is all connected. Krishna. Krishna want like that, I am okay with it. It didn't come out of. The example may be cited in this connection, just as the materialistic engage in constructing a big skyscraper, devotee engage in constructing big temple for Vishnu, where Vishnu. Superficially, the skyscraper constructor and temple constructor are on the same level, for both are collecting wood and stone, iron, and other building material. But the person who constructs a skyscraper is a materialistic, and the person who constructs a temple of Vishnu is Atmana. The materialist try to satisfy himself in relation to his body by constructing skyscraper, but devotee tries to satisfy the super soul, the supreme personality. Now we may not construct skyscraper, but we are very much interested in our villa, 3 BHKs, 2 BHKs. But we should know that this construction is going to cause entanglement if we are not having deities at home. and we are constructing that house for the pleasure of deity. So it becomes a temple. You want to construct a house or construct a temple, we always have an option. If you are inviting devotees to home and doing regular kirtan and serving them prasadam, taking care of deities every day nicely, then it will be a temple. Otherwise, it is skyscraper building and it is the cause of entanglement. Any property we have, any object we have is a cause of entanglement if it is not engaged in Krishna service. If you are not engaging in Krishna service and you have the property, either use it in Krishna service or give it in charity. It is safe. Otherwise, that object is a cause of pain for you in future, which is 100% sure. Any object we have, either using Krishna service or giving charity, don't keep it. It's not favorable. Although both are engaged in association of metal activity, devotee is liberated and materialistic is conditioned. So we don't want to be conditioned. We want to get out of this. This is because the devotee who is constructing the temple has fixed his mind upon the Supreme Personality of God, but the non devotee who is constructing the skyscraper has his mind fixed in sense gratification. If while performing any activity, even in material existence, one's mind is fixed upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, one will not be entangled or conditioned. The worker in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is always independent of the influence of material nature. We want to get rid of this. This is the purpose of our life. If we are not doing it, and later on when you get pain and trouble, then nobody can be blamed. That is our karta. It is our own activity that is making us make feel the pain. Nobody is responsible for our pain. You may say this person caused pain, that person caused pain, this situation, that situation. No, my own attachment is causing me pain. Otherwise, there cannot be pain. It is physically there may be pain because of some health issues and all, but we clearly understand. Yes, this is my own reactions. Yeah, and this is a deeper level. So he's telling do intense bhakti, and then he's giving all these activities. What the state of consciousness that need to be cultivated. Kapila is telling do intense bhakti. Then he says that okay, the activities which are in this state, if you are doing, there is not a problem. So he's giving a proper understanding also, right? And he says when the person does engage in devotional service and self-realization for many years and births, see, it's a very long process. Many years and many births. He becomes completely reluctant to enjoy any one of the material planets, even up to the highest planet, which is known as Brahma Loka. He becomes fully developed in Krishna consciousness. It's not a just one day journey. We are on the right path, but the process is long. It's a marathon. It's not just a sprint, 100 meters you run. And what happens if you run very fast in marathon? You get exhausted. So, like people try to do it very fast. Fast in the sense they want to go to Vrindavan, sit at Radha Kund, chant 64 rounds, 192 rounds, and try to fast process, make it fast the process. It won't work. They will give up eventually. And no, one disciple of Prabhupada, he just left everything, sat and started chanting 64 rounds. After 2 years, actually, I have seen many people like that at Radha Kund. They were living ISKCON and going at Radha Kund chanting. After 2 years, you don't find them. They'll end up in some other places. Why this happens is because prematurely they are trying to do something. It won't work. It's a long process. Anyone engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God knows devotee, but there is a distinction between pure devotee and mixed devotee. Mixed devotee engage in devotional service for material benefit, whereas pure devotees engage in devotional service for spiritual benefit. And in material existence, when a devotee is not completely purified, he expects material benefits, but from the Lord. What is the benefit? Relief from material miseries or want to gain material things. So this is jnana tendency and this is karma tendency. Uh, he wants material advancement in knowledge in relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity. The knowledge as to the real nature of Supreme Lord. When a person is transcendental to these conditions, he is called a pure devotee. He does not engage himself in service of the Lord for any material and highest devotees are gopis and Vrindavan. They are not interested in understanding Krishna but only in loving him. That platform of love is a pure state of devotional service. Unless one is advanced in his pure state of devotional, there is a tendency to desire elevation to material positions. So, this is another problem. So, we just have two shlokas, then I'll take the questions. This is Madbhakta प्रतिबुद्धार्थो मत्प्रसादेन भूयसा निःश्रेयसं स्वसंस्थानं कैवल्याख्यं मद आश्रयं प्राप्नो प्राप्नोति न जसां धीर स्वदृशा चिन्न संशयः यद्गत्या न निवर्तते योगी लांगाद विनिर्गतमे. Prabhupada says, my devotee actually becomes, so here, even though it is about yogi, Prabhupada is talking about devotees. So we'll try to understand from Prabhupada's point of view. My devotee actually becomes self-realized by my unlimited causeless mercy. And thus, when freed from all doubts, he steadily progresses towards his destined abode, which is directly under the perfection of my spiritual energy of unadulterated bliss. That is the ultimate perfectional goal of living entity. After giving up the present material body, the mystic devotee goes to the transcendental abode and never comes back. So when he comes out of this lording tendency, he is free, even in this material world and after death also. Prabhupada read, actual self-realization means becoming a pure devotee of Lord. So what is that? Muktirhitva anyata rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. You are situated in your swarupa. This existence of a devotee implies the function of devotion and object of devotion. Self-realization ultimately means to understand the personality of Godhead and the living entity, to know the individual self and the reciprocal exchanges of loving service between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity is real self-realization. This is real self-realization. What is that? To know that individual self and the reciprocal exchanges of loving service between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities is real self. It is not just entering into Brahman. This cannot be attained by impersonalists or other transcendentalists. They cannot understand the science of devotional service. Devotional service is revealed to pure devotee by unlimited causeless mercy of the Lord. This is especially spoken of here by the Lord. Mat prasadena, by my special grace. Like, there are so many, like one person asked me in one podcast that, you speak that there are vipassana, mindful meditation, there is transcendental meditation, then there is some many types of meditations are popular. And what is the difference between your meditation and their meditation? You tell chant Hare Krishna and they tell to meditate. They are also getting, people are getting benefited. They are here also. The main difference we can, and we see that whatever the meditations they are doing, it is still a mental platform only. It is not till the level of soul. Because for the soul, what is needed is relationships. What the soul need is love. And that is possible only with bhakti. So we should know the difference between our way and what is popular in the market. We should know very clear distinction. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Only those who engage in devotional service with love and faith receive the necessary intelligence from the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that gradually and progressively they can advance to the abode of the Personality of Godhead. And people, one week they sit and no, don't take the mobile, just sit and meditate for one week, and they experience a great amount of peace in themselves, and they think, yeah, this is perfection. But not perfection. Why? Because the tendency to enjoy is continued in this world. That does not go. Nishreyasa means the ultimate Shreya, ultimate destination. Swasamsthanam indicates the impersonalists have no particular place to stay. The impersonalists sacrifice their individuality so that the living spark can merge into the impersonal effulgence emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord. But the devotee has a specific abode. The planets rest in the sunshine, but the sunshine itself has no particular resting place. When one reaches a particular planet, then uh, he has a resting place. The spiritual sky, which is known as Kaivalya, is simply blissful light on all sides, and it is under the protection of the Supreme Person. Brahmanohi Pratishtaham, Krishna says, and then further says, in other words, the bodily effulgence Supreme Personality of Godhead is Kaivalya or impersonal Brahman. So we have heard this many times. And then the word Lingad Vinirgama, which are used here, means after being free from the two kinds of material bodies, subtle and gross. So subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego, and the contaminated consciousness, the gross body is made of 5 elements, right? And the living as a living entity prepares himself so he attains his abode. The impersonal Brahman effulgence is offered to the impersonalists. But those who want to associate with Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form as Narayana in the Vaikunthas or in Krishna in Krishna Loka go to their abodes. And then the last sloka says, when the perfect yogi attains is no longer at sorry, when a perfect yogi's attention is no longer attracted to the byproducts of mystic powers, which are manifestations of the external energy, his progress towards me becomes unlimited, and thus the power of death cannot overcome. So basically, there are so many allurements in this material world which keeps a living entity entangled. At a very, very subtle level, the yoga is the perfections. Even the coverings which are there on the around the universe, there the pleasure is unlimited times greater than what is experienced even in Brahmaloka also. After Brahmaloka, there is an abode, the covering of earth, where Varahadev stays. There, a person can experience a great amount of bliss with smells. He will get such a nice perfumes and whatever the smell, the pleasure of the smell is so high there. He will continue staying for quite a long time, enjoying that. Wow. That is. And then he goes to the level of water. And then there is taste. He can experience unlimited of taste continuously. Like presently, our senses are limited. Even if I want to eat some mangoes, I cannot eat after maybe 10, 15 mangoes or 20 mangoes. After that, we will not be able to eat. We will not get the taste. But the abode of water taste is unlimited. Like that, there are different that before going there, the mystic powers here in this world also very attractive. So Prabhupada says yogis are generally attracted to the byproducts of mystic yogi power. But they can become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, achieve anything they desire, have power even to create a planet or bring anyone they like under the subjugation. Yogis who have incomplete information of the results of devotional series are attracted by these powers, but these powers are material. They have nothing to do with spiritual progress, as other material powers are created by the material energy, by mystic power. Powers are also material. The perfect yogi's mind is not attracted by any material power, but simply attracted by the unalloyed service to the Supreme Lord. For a devotee, The process of merging into the Brahman effulgence is considered to be hellish. Yogic powers are the primary perfections of yogic powers are to be able to control the senses is automatically achieved. So, as for elevation to higher planets, a devotee consider this to be simply hallucination. That is Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Didasha Pura Akasha Pushpayate. So the three heavenly planets are like Akasha Pushpayate. Devotees concentrate only upon the eternal loving service of Lord. Therefore, the power of death has no influence over him. In such devotional state, a perfect yogi can attain the state of immortal knowledge and peace. This in the Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada third canto, 27 chapter Srimad Bhagavatam title Understanding Will Change. Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हरे कृष्ण. Okay, Radha Chaitanya ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam to you. I have one question.
Yes, Mataji.
So Prabhuji, there is a dream and there is a wakefulness. That concept was there in the purport. So my question was, we hear that the pure devotees and the great devotees have the reciprocation with the Lord in the dreams. Like they get, most of them get instructions in the dreams. So how we should understand, because that is happening on the spiritual platform, and then in day in day out we also hear some of the devotees say they had a reciprocation in their dreams. So how we will understand that, how we'll differentiate it's on spiritual platform or it's still on the mental platform, or say it's not pure state.
There are different degrees of advancement. At that degree, when Madhavendra Puri is getting a dream and Krishna is Gopal is telling, I am there here on Govardhan Hill, you please excavate me and then make a temple. That is, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appreciates Madhavendra Puri. He says, Krishna came in his dream for 3 times. The appreciation what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Madhavendra Puri. Oh, such a great person. Krishna came 3 times. That means for Madhavendra Puri, it came only 3 times. Krishna came in the dream. Of course, personally comes to give milk also. But that means Krishna coming in dream is not something very common. Like Prabhupada got one time when he's in Jaladuta. I mean, of course, he might have got many times, but he's telling Krishna appeared in various avatars and all. That means it is not something just a regular phenomena. For great personalities like Madhavendra Puri, 3 times Krishna came. So what to speak of some people, Krishna is coming. It does not happen like that. And there should be a great amount of purification. First, there should be no, then there is smarana, then there is dhyana. Dhyana means you should be able to focus on the holy name for for 12 seconds. Uh, then there is, and if you are, there is dharana, then 144 seconds, and then there is, the progress comes like that, and it does not happen. No, Krishna is coming in the dream. So it is not, and if somebody gets Krishna in dream, if he is telling, then that is not correct. That means he has not got Krishna in. If somebody, Krishna appears in dream also, no, they will not tell. If a person is very advanced, they will never tell that Krishna came in my dream. Very rarely it happens. Like Madhavendra Puri has to tell in his dream Krishna came because he want to excavate he want to take out the deity from there. And he has to tell that Krishna came in his dream because he has to do that Chandani Yatra. Otherwise, they never tell. If somebody is telling, I got Krishna in my dream, this, that, we don't take it seriously. Not a big thing. That's nobody will tell like that. If advancement, nobody tells. That is their personal relation. I will not tell, person don't tell how much I love my wife, or wife will not tell how much I love husband, because it's a personal thing. Nobody comes and openly tells, okay, this is not. So it's not something very simple, common. It's at the level of bhava, prema that happens. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.